What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Qmars, and as you can see by the title, today we're going to be getting back into the questions that need answer series with a part 7. Let's just get straight into it. Question 1: what is the male equivalent to White Diamond by Elizabeth Taylor? And if you grew up with a grandma that was very classy, chic, I'm pretty sure she had the Elizabeth Taylor perfume at once part of her life, or she either is still using it to this day. I'm happy to say that my grandmother has leveled up and she no longer uses that anymore because it's very stank. Like, it smells like a WD-40. Like, it smells like it's for something to clean metal and rust. Like, it doesn't smell like a perfume at all. It really stinks. Like, I don't understand why the older generation of women were attached to that perfume for some reason. I guess it was just the name, but it smells horrible. And I was just thinking about, like, for men, what is that cologne for men that smells like that? And like, where it's really just the name that sells it and not necessarily the smell. Now, I was thinking Dior Sauvage, but that's more of a young version of that. I'm trying to figure out like an older version. Possibly Versace blue jeans, maybe. Or Issey Miyake's, I forget the name of it. But it's in like a clear box, something like that. I used to have both. I used to have Versace blue jeans and the Issey Miyake cologne. And Versace blue jeans used to smell good to me until I started realizing that, okay, that little peppery note is a little old man-ish. And then I started realizing, like, only people that really complimented me with that cologne was older women. So then I was like, maybe this is an old man cologne. And with the Issey Miyake, I just sprayed it once and I was just like, no thank you. And I got it for $25, so I should have known then. I would go based off like the colognes that my granddads use, but they don't really use cologne. Like, my granddad used a whole bottle of YSL, spraying it on spraying it on a scarecrow to, scare away all the deer and stuff from messing with his crops. He doesn't really care about cologne and things of that nature. I don't think he uses it at all, honestly. Question 2: has Frank Ocean started using white lighters yet?
Oh God, you should match it, it's that kill. No white lighter, still I fuck my 28th.
I came up with this question not too long after Frank's birthday. I realized, like, wow, he's way past the age of 27 now. I wonder, has he or anybody feel okay using white lighters after after they after they exceed the age of 27. And if you don't know anything about like the white lighter theory, it's pretty much just people part of the 27 club that have passed allegedly with the white lighter in their pockets. Really, the only people that I see using like white lighters are people that are like smoked out and don't really like mind what color the lighter is. They don't care about the theories, even if they know about it. They just need to light up. But yeah. Question 3: are tabbies basically bunion correcting shoes? Now, at first, I used to look at tabbies and be like, I really don't understand the concept of them, especially, you know, the boot tabbies. I believe those are by Mason Margiela. I used to just look at them and be like, this is stupid. Like, I don't see the vision. Until I saw sneakers with tabbies. And this was by Reebok. It was a Reebok and Mason Margiela collab. They had like this red, white, and I believe like a grayish, blackish asphalt type of color tabby that was a sneaker that was really dope. And I really want the red pair so much. But just thinking about like how it's a separation of the toe. It kind of like forces your big toe to stay straight. So in a sense, is it bunion correcting? or what? I don't know. I feel like it could be. And if you don't know what a bunion is basically like a misalignment of the joint of your big toe. And I'm not sure if it causes like inflammation or anything, but it kind of makes your toe like lean, your big toe lean inside, and causes that joint that connects, your toe to the foot to stick out. Question 4. Has The Sims ever been added to any school curriculums? Like, it just made me wonder, like, has any school used The Sims to educate someone on something? Because me personally, I feel like I learned a lot of things through playing Sims. And the main thing that I learned, well, two of the main things I learned was money management and certain elements of sociology. And I really believe that this is something that like a school could actually use to teach. And if I ever came across a course in school that offered um just something involving like the Sims and all of that, I would have loved to join it, especially like if the whole course is just about Sims. You can definitely believe I would add that to my schedule. No matter how many hours I have, that class would have to be added. And I just came up with this question like while thinking about like all the music artists that are now being added to curriculums because of their talent and success, like Beyonce, Solange, Nicki Minaj, Lupe Fiasco, KRS-One, Kanye West, and even Taylor Swift. um I would really love to go back to school and take all of the fun, whimsical classes, because that really makes school a lot interesting, a lot more interesting, because it's so much that you can learn from just like the experience of other people's lives, but with Sims specifically, other people's lives and careers, but with Sims specifically, like there's so much you can learn about real life just from that game. And Sims isn't the only game that's like that. Although, like, Sims is a simulation game based off of real life, so obviously. But I believe you can also learn some things that you can apply to real life from other games as well that aren't like 100% or just technically based on real life. Question 5. Do you organize your vinyl artists by name, genres, or the project title? And this just came up while putting my vinyl records into alphabetical order. I was like, do I go by the artist name or do I go by the title of the album? I just stuck with going by the artist name. That way all their projects would be together. But I started thinking about more like, I don't know, like I'd be wanting to organize it by the title, and sometimes even wanting to just organize it by the color. I don't know, it's just a lot of ways that you can choose to organize it, but I feel like organizing it by the name makes more sense because you can find everything that they have together, and you already know like what you have by this artist without, buying multiple copies of something on accident. Question 6. Would you prefer being around people you love or people that show you that they love you? And as someone who is an avoidant person who believes that actions are more important than words, I said that I would rather be around people that show me. Because it's people that will say like, they love this about you, this, that. Like, everybody can say that they love you, use the words, but it's some people that never have to say those words for you to feel that they actually love you. And those are my favorite type of people to be around. Like, people that just do the thing instead of just give you all this word vomit and false hope about things. that they never really plan on doing, or just basic stuff they don't even do. Like they fall flat on all the words that they say. But as but when someone steps into your life and they just show you like, I ain't gotta say all that. We gonna do what we say we gonna do. And sometimes we ain't even gotta say we gonna do it. It's just gonna get done. Those are my favorite people. And that's what I strive to be. That's the way that I am because of my mom. She never really used to be like, I love you. She never used to do the hugs, the overly affectionate, emotional things. She just showed up and did the things that she was supposed to do as a parent, and the things that I wanted and needed, honestly. And that's who I strive to be. In a world that seems like they prefer the extra nonsense. Question 7. How does a company prepare to give out freebies without worrying about lost profit? And I was just thinking about this when it came to like my job, giving away certain things for free. Um like I was just wondering like, okay, how do they write this off? Like how do they make up for, giving out free things? Does this come from them making or exceeding like their goals or something like that, and then that gives them enough space to be like, hey, we can give this away, this and that. But sometimes the purpose of them doing it is to, get more people to come in. So I wonder, like, is that actually a loss, or do they regain from that so-called loss after, it brings more people in, or what? It's probably like a question that I should ask, the operator of my job. Um, and it's been a minute since I wrote these questions, so I kind of forgot about that question. So I'm definitely going to ask him about that, and then maybe give y'all an update. Question 8. Was Law Roach too mean on Project Runway? And basically, he talked about how he intentionally shakes up the room, like always, just to, bring some fun to TV, because nobody gets that from TV anymore. It's pretty much like he said, it's too cookie cutter. And anyone that really knows him in real life knows that he isn't that brutal or, mean in real life. And it's just for fun. And he always expresses that like it's just an alter ego just for television. And he also dealt with like similar judgment when he was on Legendary as well on HBO Max, and people just took the fun out of him, just being the character. And honestly, if he wasn't that way on either show, it would have just been like yes men and people pitying, and that definitely would have made the show so boring. Like I feel like you always need to have somebody that completely goes against the grain, and he wasn't someone like that, honestly, that just went against people just for the heck of it. Sometimes it was needed. Like everybody would just take the bare minimum from people, and if you have someone or your whole panel just agreeing to everything that you do and saying this is good without giving you any type of critiques, then how are you going to grow as a performer, as an artist, as someone just being judged? And in some ways his actions would influence the other people on the panel, to be honest. Like some people would be scared to like be the one to stand out and be like, I actually didn't like this, or I actually like this. And he gave people the space to be comfortable with their own opinions, and even made them explain more so why they go against his opinion and why they feel like a certain way, in opposite of how he felt. But also they were saying like he lacks the credentials to act the way that he did, but that isn't true. Like Law has been in the game for a minute now alongside Zendaya, and he's experienced a lot of things, and he knows a lot more than some of the judges are. He's more well-rounded than a lot of the judges were. So to say that he lacked credentials doesn't really like play into effect. unless you're talking about like these awards and all of that that don't really like matter, and how so many of them are bought. But yeah, definitely was Team Law Roach on both shows. He definitely made it more entertaining and interesting. Would love to see him do more judging. Question 9. Do artists benefit more from physical or digital sales? And this question just came to me um, while I was doing like my McNair Scholars Research Program paper and presentation titled An 8-Track Tape on Why Hip Hop Artists Must Go Pop. And the whole point of me saying like these artists must go pop is for to generate more income. And while doing that research, I was looking up like how much money do they make off these streaming websites, and a lot of it was like less than a cent per stream. So I was wondering like, do they make more money off of streaming, or how much money do they make off, physical sales? Like, how is that broken down as compared to the way that streams are broken down? Like you say, a general vinyl record, especially like if it's one LP, is gonna be about $35 to maybe 60-ish, 45-ish, depending on the artist. But yeah, I'm just wondering like, how do the physical sales generate income for the artist, and how it's broken down? I haven't been able to find anything to tell me about that yet, and I also haven't really tried to look and find anything to tell me about that yet. But I do know fans are more prone to buying a physical album rather than buying an album or song digitally, because it's a tangible item, and also because that's the trend now. Buying vinyl records and CDs and 8-track tapes and all of that is, I mean, not 8-track tapes, cassettes is the new thing now. Like, people collect these things and don't even have a record player. Me. But yeah, I just wonder what's what money, how much money is being brought in as compared to streaming and buying digitally when buying the vinyl, the CD, anything physical. Which one generates more income? And for question 10, the last question is that your favorite album by an artist, or did your favorite producer actually have a hand on it? And this is basically like me with Dark Child, and like discovering that some of my favorite albums by Brandy has his touch to them, but also realizing that a lot of my favorite songs and songs that I deem as great were produced by him. And some of them songs being It's Not Right, But It's Okay by Whitney Houston, Telephone by Lady Gaga, You Rock My World by Michael Jackson, and more. It just made me realize like, we always talk about how much we love an artist, and this is my favorite album of them, this and that, or I love this song, I love this genre, I love this sound. One whole time, the reason why you love all of those things is because of said producer. And because we don't really read the information on who produced what, who, all the people that had a hand on the album, we kind of like forget that this isn't just all of the work of the artist, or just, the artist following said genre. Producers have a lot of hand on why you enjoy what you enjoy. And that's why I love those Apple Music playlists that do like would it be like the get to know the producer type of playlist, where it's like you able to listen to all the songs that this producer has produced, and it just make you realize like, oh wow, like not only do I have a favorite artist, but I do have a favorite producer as well. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do more of. Reading, especially when having like the physical version of albums and things of that nature. I'm going to do a better job at like reading who had hand on the production, the marketing, the art designs, all of that, because you just never know. And like, yeah, you just never know. But yeah, that's all I have. Thank you guys for watching. And if you have the answers to any of these questions, please leave them in the comments. Or if you have any more questions to add to my questions, do that as well. But I'm trying to be more active as we approach the summertime. But I just want to be more active throughout this whole year because, like I said, when I first started this, I wanted to build a community of people that are interested in everything that I'm interested in, and people that just like to learn and share what they've learned. So we will be doing that. But yeah, stay tuned for the more things that I have coming throughout the rest of 2026 and so on. But yeah, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.